What if I told you that this material could permanently integrate with your tissue? Look how strong and flexible it is. What if I told you that it can displace the use of donor and processed tissue in surgery? What if I provide you with clinical evidence that we can use it to permanently integrate implants with surrounding tissue, reinforce soft tissue for life, and use it for guided tissue and bone regeneration? It is also poised to enable sensors to remain in contact with our surrounding tissue. Imagine the possibilities. We call it the CorNeat Evermatrix. It holds a future for a new era of implants. The Evermatrix is the first non-degradable, completely synthetic biomimetic extracellular matrix, which is essentially the skeleton of our tissue. We discovered the Evermatrix as we were developing our artificial cornea, researching ways to integrate artificial optics with resident ocular tissue. The Evermatrix addresses the main issue with implants and implantables, which is a foreign body response they trigger. Our immune system will work to degrade and eventually absorb biomaterials, or alternatively encapsulate them with a granuloma. What makes the Evermatrix work is its similarity to the extracellular matrix in terms of fiber diameter and porosity. It is made from polyurethanes, so does not degrade, so not a scaffold by definition. When implanted, it practically goes under the radar of the immune system. Its special structure triggers complex biological processes, stimulating cellular proliferation that leads to full integration. The fact it remains in the tissue makes the integrated tissue even stronger than the original, kind of like a metal mesh within a concrete wall. The Evermatrix disruptive tissue integrating capabilities were proven in over 12 different studies, in vitro, in vivo, and now also in humans. Here you can see histological evidence from a subconjunctival space, demonstrating full fibroblast colonization and abundant collagen deposition within our matrix. There is no capsule formation, and even capillaries coursing the way through the material, rendering it an integral part of the tissue. I can't emphasize enough the significance of this discovery to human health. I will briefly touch upon the products we currently have under development. Note the role of Evermatrix in each. Every product has a full plan, story, time to market, business potential, and strategy. They are all novel and expect to disrupt the market dynamics for the relevant indications. We also have a very strong and broad IP. The CorNeat Everpatch is a permanent tissue-integrating ophthalmic surgical matrix. It is poised to displace the use of donor and processed tissue in ocular surface surgery. Indications include scleral reinforcement, glaucoma tube shunt implantations, trauma, pterygium, and more. The main advantage of the Everpatch is permanency. All existing tissue patches are absorbed over time, some leading to complications. All surgeons that experience working with the CorNeat Everpatch just loved it. It's flexible yet durable, doesn't rip when sutured. It is only 100 microns in thickness and it doesn't degrade, so a perfect solution for the eye wall. The first in-human implantation of the CorNeat Everpatch took place in Canada in December 2020. The CorNeat Everpatch was used here to cover and conceal a glaucoma drainage device. Our first patient underwent tube shunt implantation in both eyes, and as you can see here, the eye with the CorNeat Everpatch is quiet, while the other eye with donor tissue is congested and inflamed. Besides the huge aesthetic difference, our key advantage here again is permanency. The CorNeat eShunt is a unique glaucoma device that extends minimally invasive surgery to severe and refractory glaucoma patients. Its design will provide long-term, predetermined pressure regulation, halting the progression of this devastating blinding disease. The CorNeat eShunt's innovative design addresses all shortcomings of existing shunts in trabeculectomy. The CorNeat eShunt is efficacious and stable immediately post-op, as resistance to flow is dictated by its inlet and tube design and not by a valve or scarring around the outlet. The device seamlessly integrates with the surrounding tissue, shortening the procedure. It also won't clog over time, as its outlet is uniquely positioned deep in the orbit in an area that has only fat and blood vessels and is less likely to fibrose. The positive pressure in the orbit significantly reduces the risk of hypotony. We have successfully completed a bench test and several animal implantations, proving the device drainage mechanism, integration concept, and perfecting the implantation procedure. We are entering a GLP animal study and are on a path to initiate first-in-human study early in 2024 toward 510K and CE marking. The CorNeat G patch is our first device outside ophthalmology. This 100% synthetic reinforcement patch is expected to last a lifetime and provide the infrastructure for gingival tissue to grow on. It is also poised to displace the use of autografts, allografts, and xenografts, as well as degradable collagen-based membranes used to control gingival bone regeneration. The initial results of implanting this Evermatrix product adjacent to the gingival bone done at the Hadassah Dentistry Hospital in Israel were very promising. We are currently following a 510K path for approving this device as a gingival patch and expect it to be cleared for marketing at the end of next year. We recently won a $2.3 million Navy US grant for clinically evaluating game-changing application for the use of the G-patch in maxillofacial reconstruction surgery. The CorNeat K-Pro, our flagship device, will enable corneally blind patients around the world to fully rehabilitate their vision following a simple and straightforward procedure without reliance on donor tissue. Globally, there are 2 million new cases of corneal blindness each year, but only a small fraction, 150,000, are treated with donor tissue. 20 to 30% of these are repeated grafts. For every patient that receives donor tissue, there are over 70 needed. But even if you are lucky to receive donor tissue, the chances that you will see well again are a mere 50%. Unlike previous attempts at corneal transplantation, which try to integrate with the native cornea, a tissue that heals very poorly, we leverage an Evermatrix skirt to permanently and biomechanically integrate optimal wide aperture lens under the conjunctiva, the white part of the eye. That's an area that is rich with blood vessels and fibroblasts that it heals vigorously. While we start with blind patients that are not suitable or failed transplantations, we designed a product that is superior to donor tissue in many aspects and is aimed to displace it in the future in many indications. The global need and the potential impact are extraordinary. In January 2020, we hit a major milestone with our first in-human implantation. Jamal, a terminally blind 78-year-old man who previously failed 4 transplantations and didn't see for a decade, regained his sight and independence following a 1-hour surgery. Jamal is now 20 months post-op, and his vision is stable with no complaints on pain or discomfort. We are currently working on clinically validating our first 2 products, the CorNeat K-Pro and the CorNeat Everpatch, teaming up with leading clinical sites in 4 continents. The CorNeat G-Patch and the CorNeat Vision will enter the clinical phase next year. I'm excited to share that our first product, the CorNeat Everpatch, will be submitted for FDA 510 clearance as early as next week. In the next 3 years, all 4 products will enter the market. We already signed up over a dozen distributors and are engaged with a couple of dozens of US reps, all our eye banking veterans, which will assist us in soft launching our ophthalmic products to the US market. So far, we've raised close to $20 million, including $4 million for setting our JV in China, where there are over 5 million corneally blind patients and only 5,000 transplantations a year. We also won a 2.5 million euro EIC grant for advancing our artificial cornea to market. We recently teamed up with a reputable Boston-based investment bank and will be launching our A round in a couple of months, aiming to raise $20 million. We have an amazing team, which includes experienced engineers, clinical, regulatory, and business experts. We also have a physician, my co-founder and close friend, Dr. Gilad Litvin, on staff. From a scientific perspective, we are supported by the world's top physicians. These include current and past presidents of leading scientific societies. I invite you to meet me and partner with us for success. Thank you.